Hello, hello, hello. We are back. This is the last 12 by 12 for the month of June. So although I am recording this on May 21st, you will not see this until June 29th. So I am filming way ahead on this. And as I've said in previous videos, I do that so that way I can clear all of the supplies for this project off my desk, because holy moly, holy moly, holy moly, if you could see my desk and all the peripherals, it is a mess doing these projects. But I can move all the supplies for this project off my desk, pull all the supplies in for other project, and I just go in rotation. So I'm always filming ahead. It makes it a little hard sometimes to tell you about my day or something that happened today, because by the time you see it, it's like forever ago. But, it is what it is. So this project comes to you by Hither and Yon Studios. HITHERANDYON Studios. It did take a lot of prep work ahead of time, so I've done a lot of stuff off camera in preparation for this, because there's a lot to it. But this is essentially what we're going to be making today. So this is a book page, and it's got 3 little pockets. One here, one here. Got more than one piece of paper. So one pocket here. Let's do it that way. If I can get the paper apart. One pocket here. And one pocket here. It will come with 3 whale tail punches. So you'll put your tab over your tag that goes in here. You'll put the little tab on here. This will slide in. It won't go all the way in. It's bigger than... But ideally, when you slide these in, your tab will come right up like this and sit right on the edge of your pocket. Like so. Like so. And then you'll have your tag in each pocket. So, because this is the size that it is, there will be 3 pockets for each design that will be listed in my Etsy shop. But yeah, so let's go. There's really no measurements to this, because it is based upon what size journal you're making and what size book pages you're using. If you're doing a standard half sheet journal, which is most of what I use, you're just going to want to find a book that when you cut the text block out, it fits on that 5.5 by 8.25 sheet of paper. Now I did cut this down a little smaller, so this is like 4 3/4 by 7.5. So it kind of will, the journal page will still frame it. So it'll be up to the individual person to decorate their base pages however they want before they add this onto it. In addition to that, I've and I backed them all with brown paper. You're not going to see this brown. It's just there just to give this a little extra strength, because when you put this in your journal, you're just going to glue it on 3 sides. And this is going to be one big pocket. So that is just for stability. I use the brown because I have a ton of it. I've got a ton of packing paper. I have picked out my 6 papers. So I got the yellow polka dots, the green zigzag, the red check, little hearts, glittery. It's all glittery. I don't know how well you can tell that. This one with the mushrooms and the boards. And then this one, I messed up cutting this one, but I think it's still going to work. I hope. If not, I'll figure something else out. But I think I have another sheet of this. If not, if it doesn't. So in addition to all the work I put into ahead of time on this, I've also created myself this little template as to where to score. These pages and where to hole punch, or where to mark for my thumb pulls. Okay, so again, each set is going to have 3 3 sets of pockets. So we're going to go 2 3/8. 4 3/4, and then where did my pen go? I'm telling you guys, my desk is a mess. Okay, well, let's find a pencil. And then we're going to mark at 1 1/8, 3 1/2, why does that not look right? One, 1 2, 1 2, so 1 1. Go away, fly. 1 2 3 4 5. I'm going to change that to 3 5/8. And then right around 6. So this, they're going to dust my ink, or my, so we got 1 2 1 2 3. One, 1 2. Yep. It's right about there. Okay. I'm going to do all 3 of these together. 1 1/8, 3 5/8, and 6. I'm going to score at 2 3/8 and 4 3/4. Next, same one, 2 3/8, 4 3/4. I'm going to dot at 1 1/8, 3 5/8, and at 6. Wonder if my, I'm going to see if it can handle all 3 at once. Nope. Nope. Gosh, I can barely do two. Okay, so I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna do these one at a time. I was hoping to be able to cheat a little bit, but I could mass make these and do all the scoring, all the punching, all the marking, you know, everything all at the same time. And then go back and do all the gluing. But then you guys would be here forever watching me do this. Get rid of all these little half moons. I'm gonna set that aside for right now. I'm gonna set those aside, set this aside. Move that out of the way. Okay, so now you have your 3 sets. And you're gonna grab 3 of your little book pages. And one at a time, we're gonna glue this onto here. And we're going to leave just a frame around the outside. Facing it more that way. Because, again, when you put your whale tail on there, it's going to stick out some. Okay? So you're not folding on those score lines. That's just telling you where you're adding glue. So, like always, you're going to hold the side you're not gluing. Glue down the edge. Glue down that score line. Glue down this score line. Down this edge. And then all down this long edge. Doop. Okay. You're going to put this down, and like I said, you're going to give it some room all the way around. But you want to try to center it on there as well. There's one. Just give it a squish along, or you know there's glue. A little burnishing there. Up the side. Now, if you don't think that you can get this on here straight, or straight enough, you can use a square. Had to think about it a minute. But for the most part, because you have the letters of the book page behind you, you should be able to get it at least close enough to straight, unless you're a perfectionist. Then you might have to get a T-square out. Now you could do this so that everything's facing all three of them are facing from the coming, they're coming in from the right. You could do them all three coming in from the left. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2 of one and 1 of the other. Okay, so I got 2 going that way. So this one I'm going to put on this way. So you'll feed in from this side. So this would go on the left side of your journal, whereas these would go on the right side of your journal. And I'll show you what a journal page looks like. What it'll look like on a journal page, I meant to say. Glue all the way down the bottom. Give that a burnish down, a burnish down. It's a little on the crooked side. Okay, so say this is your book page, your signature sewn in here. Here's your spine. This one would go this way on your page. And you would glue here, here, and here. And then this becomes a pocket behind, and then you have 1, 2, 3 pockets there. And then these ones obviously go in the opposite direction. So your spine's over here. You're going to put it there. You could center it if you wanted to. It's up to you. This has designs on it because of the way it was coffee dyed, or the way it was stained. I didn't dye it, I stained it. Using probably ink. But again, you'll have a pocket here, a pocket here, a pocket here. And then this is one big pocket going in this way by gluing here, here, and here. So you got those 3. Let's see. Let's get these thumbnails punched. I like this because it's not directional. It doesn't really matter which way I do these, but I do need 9 of them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Was kind of hoping I could fit it there, but nope. Now on the other ones, it'll work out a little different on how I get these cut out because I didn't mess up cutting in the first place. So I'm just going to trim this off. This goes in my scrap bin for future die cuttings. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Goes with this set. Okay. Scraps. I have such a big pile of scraps just off screen, like right there. Yeah. I got a lot going on. Okay, let's do the little mushrooms. Get my little cue card out here. So 2 3/8, 4 3/4, and we're gonna thumb notch at 1 1/8. Oh, this pencil is gonna irritate me. 1 1/8, 3 5/8, and it's 6. I guess that one I've decided is going to be left. This one's also going to be a left because the design is over here. And this one will be a right since most of the design is over here. So 1 1/8, 3 5/8, and it's 6. And we're scoring at 2 3/8, 4 3/4. And then this one, we're going to go this way. 2 3/8, 4 3/4, and we're scoring at 1 1/8, 3 5/8, and at 6. Okay. Move you out of the way. Go through and we're going to hole punch. What time I got? Oh yeah, I'm only 23 minutes in. So I don't know how many people on my subscribers are 90 Day Fiancé fans, but I'm just going to share the news I heard this evening. It's weird. Twice in one night, I've heard of 90 Days cast members dealing with stomach cancer. One is Liz of, Big Ed and Liz fame. And the other one was Ben, who was dating a girl named Mahogany. But Liz is still dealing with it. But Ben died today of stage 4 stomach cancer. Like, wowza. Little half moons everywhere. Okay, then 1, 2, and 3. 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3. Like I'm in a aerobics video or something. So again, you're going to go down the 2 outer edges and down these 2 score lines. So you have 4 parallels. 1, 2, 3 pockets. And then 1 big line down this long edge. Whoop. Try to drive straight. As Miss E would say, back and drive straight. Drive my glue straight. This is still, I'm like crooked. You do have a little bit of wiggle room with the Fabrifix. I have this one fly that it has been driving. I don't know. They're huge. They're not horse flies. But they're bigger than your standard house fly. Don't know what they are. I've killed like 4 so far. And the last one, I dropped it into my garbage can and I went, ooh, let me Google. Well, it would have been a lot easier to Google if I just, did a Google lens of the fly that was actually sitting in front of me. But I didn't think about that until after I dropped it into my garbage can, and I couldn't dig it out. I couldn't find it. So, I'm waiting for this one to land where I can swat it so that I can Google Lens it. But right now, it is just decided, it's just wanting to dive bomb me left and right and make me mad. That's the other thing too, is that their behavior is different than your standard housefly, that I'm used to. I'm not used to, houseflies dive bombing and like trying to fly up your nose and in your mouth and all that nastiness. I'm used to houseflies just being obnoxious and like finding the 1 centimeter square inch of bare skin to land on. But this little jerk is irritating the crud out of me. Nope, we moved. Come on. There we go. So we've got two facing that way, one facing that way. And then this, again, because this is, the words are there's words, I gotta make sure that my tab is facing the right way at all times. 1, 2, 3, which means I have to trim as I go. 4, 5, 6, 'll switch sides because I want to get some other. 7, 8, and 9. Okay. And again, this will go in my scrap bin for die cutting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Goes with this one. Oh, we're only at 32 minutes. Let's just keep on rolling. We do at least one more. So let's do our little hearts here. Again, get my little cheater out. So we got 1 and 1/8. 3 and 5/8. And 6. I'm like, where's my scoring tool? 2 and 3/8 as one score. 4 and 3/4 is the other. Nope. Gotta go upside down. So 2 and 3/8. 4 and 3/4. We're gonna do 1 and 1/8. Oh, there's that fly again. It only seems to come around when I have something in my hand. And I'm going to do both of them upside down like that. 1 and 1/8. 3 and 5/8. And 6. 2 and 3/8. 4 and 3/4. I have my phone on like the lowest volume, so I don't know if you guys can hear the chicken in the background. But I'm watching the Steinmetz Family Farm, Angel Watch, which is the 24-hour live stream watching mamas that are due to have babies and mamas with babies out in the maternity ward. So it's kind of fun. And he normally only has this going when he's expecting babies, but he was saying on one of his streams the other day that this is like his best security system ever. You know, because there's at least 100 people watching every single night. And it's way better than, any alarm system that he could possibly, have set up in his barn. Some people have his, like his mods have his number. But yeah, like the other night, we were all watching, and there was such a racket, and we could see like the stalls were bouncing around, and there was a goat screaming like crazy. And it definitely sounded like a goat in labor, but it wasn't, because we could, as the camera panned around, we could see the ones that that we're expecting, and none of them were in labor, so it wasn't them. But like I said, we could also see, the whole thing was it was shaking. There was a lot of screaming going on. And after several minutes, one of the mods was like, okay, I'm calling him. And by the time he got his shoes on and got out there, whichever goat it was managed to get itself unstuck. But it looked like what had happened is one of the goats got her head stuck in the hay feeder because of horns, and another goat seized the opportunity to be a brat and start headbutting her while she was stuck. So it definitely was quite the commotion. Glitter everywhere. One, 2, and 3. This would be fun for somebody doing a Valentine's journal, or even like just an I love you, like an anniversary type journal. Something with a lot of hearts in it. 1, 2, and 3. Bump, 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 and bump. Again, scrap goes off to the side. These go in the garbage. Did that a little different order just because I already had this in my hand. So it's like, why am I putting it down and then picking it back up? That's kind of the idea behind mass making, is to do as few moves as possible through the course of your crafting. So 1, 2, and 3. It's like 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1. So I was saying, that's why I was saying I felt like I'm, doing an aerobics class. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. I'm just gonna go all the way down the long edge of this short edge. Down the score line. Down the score line. Craft herpes. This one's coming in from this direction. Now, I used two different book backings. One was a book on early childhood education, essentially. So some of the wording that's sticking behind seems like, it's off topic, I guess is. I mean, they're safe in the respect that, there's no cursing or nothing. And the other book, I use pages out of a book about the Mid-Columbia, which is the part of Washington that I live in. Just trying to line up with the words to get that on there as straight as I can. I don't want to rub because, again, you can see, I've already got glitter everywhere. So I don't want to rub too much. Now I'm debating, which I think I will. Let me see if labels, bugs, flowers, fairies, numbers, words, office ticket, hippie. Nope, it's in my other stamp. I get it from my chair, and there's like half moons everywhere. Containers, circles, borders. I think that's. I'm pretty sure that's where I filed that one. And then we're going to take my long acrylic block. I'm going to find my black let's do that one. Gives it some character. I'm going to test this one out. So I think this might be my dead one. Yep. That's what I was afraid of. Okay, let's get my black soot out then. Make sure this is, yep, make sure this is going to stamp. So, and this looks like it's been sewn. Without me having to get my sewing machine out. What this will also do is, some of the words, like I said, some of the words are like, huh? People are gonna, it's not like they're, bad words. They're just ones that are not going to make a whole lot of sense because you can't see them, number one. But, they're also, like this is hearts, but it's talking about children in daycare. And they're potty habits. I've got several different types of stamps too. Oh my god. I'm like, am I even on camera doing this? And we're going to flip it. And for continuity purposes, I'm not going to switch out the stitch when I do one of my other ones. I'll do a different imitation sewing. Yeah. Wipe that before I end up goobering. Okay. Now I also have these really cool stamp set that came in one of my kits. One of my packages that my orders. What's the word I'm looking for? My auction wins. And these are little decorations for the whale tails. So those are kind of fun. It's cutesy. So this is what you get. You get something that looks like this. like this. Like that. The little flowers. Or it does like a solid stamp, and it's got like, it's hard to see on this one, but it's got like little outlines. Wasn't as impressed with this one, but I'm wondering if I want to do some stamping on these. No, at least not on this set. So there's that one. Time waste 51 minutes. So I don't think I'm going to keep you for all. I'm going to stamp the other ones that I've finished and finish these 3 sets. I'm not going to keep you with me that whole time. Why not? Let's go this way. So this is kind of, it's an uneven zigzag stitch. It's kind of a uneven zigzag. Just had to decide if I wanted the straight edge along the straight edge, or did I want the crooked edge along the crooked, or along the straight edge? And I went with the straight edge running along the straight edge of the paper. It just gives it kind of a faux sewn look. And just like, you know, inking your edges, this kind of helps hide some of the flubbers. I am inking all over my desk. That's okay. I can hear my husband saying in my ear, you know, I brought you gloves home so you didn't get ink all over yourself. He did. There was stamps in their gloves in their inventory that they've had for years and have never sold. So he brought them home for me. But I'm like, I don't mind getting inky. It's, you know, dyeing that I don't enjoy. Like when I'm tea dyeing stuff, I don't like that my hands turn brown and they smell like, you know, coffee or tea for days. Like my poor cat, she won't even get near me after I've coffee dyed. She won't let me pet her or anything. She can't stand the smell of my hands. Now, some of the whale tails for this one are pretty boring. So I think there are a couple that I do want to stamp with those. And then, of course, the recipient can then decide which card they would like that stamp to go with. But I keep losing stuff. Like this one just has words. There's no decoration on it. This one's pretty plain. This one can use some extra. This can use some extra. This could definitely use some extra. Extra. Okay, well. I like the florally aspect of this one. Although I think I like this one better. Now it's pretty subtle. I wish I could just figure out how to line them up just like that, but I cannot. It's just to tie those back in. And this one. Okay. that is this set. I will finish this project off screen. Just keep an eye out for these in my Etsy shop after this video airs. They'll be listed in the drop down / new. So in the drop down menu, click on the new and it'll take you right to all of my new items. So with that, we will talk to you later. Peace out.